7 billion people on the earth or something, electricity is a necessity. But there's all these cables going up everywhere. Why? When there's been technology. I remember when I was 10, living in a state, renting, my dad renting, before I got kicked out because he gambled all his wages again. Anyway, I was lived in all like 10, how many houses, because dad always gambled his wages away and got kicked out of every house and blacklisted and everything. Anyway, got a couple of, stayed in a few nice houses, but, got kicked out after a year or something to another house, and then anyway, stayed in this place. It was around 30 years ago, no cables, none. And now it's 30 years after, and there's still all these cables up all over the place. So what's going on? They got the technology for the fiber optic cable. It can put one cable underneath the ground, and it can be only through one cable, rather than all these ones all up on the, up on the street where the animals are walking across and they get electrocuted and they fall on the road, and birds and that. It's a major hazard. So you got that, and people putting them up still on that, And imagine all the rest of the world. I live in Australia. It's meant to be a, what's it called? A high-class, top, first-class country. Imagine the rest of the world. The rest of all the people. Where's no one who's looking after each other. It's meant to be a job, putting all these cables up all over the place. And it's a disaster. So, do it properly. And everybody's still trying to find out how or how to bring electricity properly to houses in respect of, solar's going up now, the solar panels on the roofs and that. So you got the solar panels. And, batteries. And it's a matter of finding something which is practical, I'll go so far as to say a grid is not really a good idea to have electricity running through cables all day long. Why have it running through cables all day long? To go all the way from one place through a cable all the way to the house just to switch a light switch on, when you can have a little battery in the house that can be connected all in the house. If it's a good battery, you can have a good battery. And if you need to charge it, you can have a generator to charge it with some gas or propane, which is a clean burning fuel. Or you can do it with water. You can do an electrolysis with water, which separates the oxygen from the hydrogen, and that uses combustion to run the generator. And how that's easy, just water from the tap, water, you put it in, you put the, the little plates in there for electrolysis, and then boom, you got a constant fuel 24/7. And you can even use that to if it's not loud, if it's not a loud nuisance, you can have a quiet soundproof room. If you can get a quiet generator powered with that, you can just have that going for your house. And everybody can have that. And get rid of all these cables and that, and be easy. It's not complicated. That's another thing. There's this lie going around as if life's complicated, as if work's meant to be this big, whole daunting, complicated thing. And you got to be a professional at this and that. Just relax. Take it easy. Life is not that way. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be, enjoyable. You're not meant to be ran into the ground, So anyway, that's one area. Electricity. It has to be right. There's a lot of bad things going around in that area. So, what am I going to do? What's everybody going to do is the question, And you got all these trees being chopped down, being lopped for to build houses with the wood. Why you want to build a wood house? Just build a concrete house with the concrete. That's all the sand. Look at all the sand. Look at all for the concrete. You can get it from anywhere. You put up the jig or whatever, and you put the concrete, and you build a nice house. You make it thick. It's insulated, and you don't even need an air conditioner, because if it's hot outside, because you got the concrete, it stays cool inside. Or you can just make a house under the ground, which is the concrete walls, and then you can always be cool in there, and you can always be warm if it's cold outside. because of the insulation properties there. And that saves on having to have electricity to run all those appliances too, because it's a nuisance having them on, and it's noisy. You have this fan going on all day, all night, because it's cold, and it's bzzz. You get the ringing in the ear, bzzz. I just want a bit of peace and quiet. Can I get a bit of peace and quiet, please? So anyway, so that's it, and the trees have to be there. The trees have to be growing good, because they relate to the lungs. The earth is a reflection of the people. Okay, you got the trees are the lungs, you got the rivers are the veins, you got the rocks are the bones, you got the grass is the hair, and you got the clay. The clay is the muscles, the clay, and you got the soil is the body or the skin, the pores, the soil where the grass grows, the hairs, it's exactly the same as the people. You got the ocean is the bladder, you drink the drink, you got your ocean there, and it goes to the kidneys, you got the reservoirs in the earth, it goes in the streams, and you got the reservoirs as your kidneys, and then it goes through your veins, and then, maybe the lake is the heart, and, you get the waterfalls as the arteries or whatever, and you got, it relates to the people, you got a cave, it's probably the teeth, to the cave and the rocks, because of bones, rocks get calcium, rocks are calcium carbonate. That's the mineral they're made out of. They match the bone. It goes that perfect that each mineral on the earth would match the certain mineral that is related to that. The oxygen, or for the trees, or, trees are carbon or carbon oxygen dioxide or whatever. It's necessary. Well, then you got, what is it? The grass has the same mineral that's in the wash. It has sodium or hydroxide, which is that's lye or caustic soda. It's in the grass. It's one of the main minerals in the grass, and there's the potassium hydroxide too, and that's in the wash, the soaps and that. So it's the one that's related to the body, the soil, the soil of the body. So you would notice that all them, they also match the minerals to the body too. So I was actually I've put that on some posts a fair bit, and I've put it on also comments on the YouTube to people, just to give an example of the earth on what's what. And I was going to write down a list and match them all up exactly. But everybody can see sort of where it's all going. That's the earth. So it has to be looked after. You look after the earth, and you look after yourself. The animals are like, they're the emotions. So if the animal's not happy, you're not going to be happy. If the animal's given the food, and you might hear the birds singing, because I got birds here, they're always singing because I give them the food and that, then you're going to be happy. You're going to be in a good mood because the animals are in a good mood. The birds are singing. They got their food, they're happy, they got their little bath, they're having a swim, or they're clean, and the feathers are flapping around, and they're happy. So if the animals are taken care of and the animals have, then the people will be happy. So this is where the animals come in. This is a whole big job. Big job. Jobful, jobless, thus job. Careful, careless, thus care. Hopeful, hopeless, thus hope. It's a word in that category, and then that's how you can know if it's a job. If it has care to it, if it has some hope to it, well, then it has some job to it. You can say, you can see if it's a job in such regard. So, again, I've been putting this together for a long time, and so that I can be saved. I can live. I can get a good 20 or 30 years out of my life, where I can live where the bad is gone. So I'm 40 now, so I have 20 or 30 years to get it done. By that time I'll be 70, and then everybody should at least get to 100. That's that should be the aim, to get around 100 is minimum. So I should I'm hoping I'll get my last years, 30 years or plus if it goes for more long, because the oldest people now are around 100 over 110 or something, 106-year-old or so. This 106-year age person going on marathon runs, 50 miles or something, going on marathon runs. So, the hope, the job, it has to be there, they care, so, yeah, imagine, so I have the want to live, so I can have a good 30 years without the bad around, I can see it's going now, but there's so much bad around still. It's a lot bad, My days and my nights are very, because I'm awake at nights, they're very grueling. I'm grueling through it. I'm, 5 hours walking. I've never had any driving lessons, so I've never driven a car before. My dad never owned a house, so I always had to give him rent. He always asked for rent. He always gambled it, so I've never really had anything, proper accommodation. All everything of what I get goes to the rent and goes to food and my health in that regard, and I'm utilising it all to the best way I can, and it seems that I can't progress. I want to progress fast because I know I've got a lot of answers, but I can't because just it can't right now. It's as if it has to be slow, and then the pace will pick up after. But now there's a lot of things I haven't got that I have to, I know that the steps, I've got it planned out. I've got to have this, I've got to get this result, and then once I get that result, I can then move on to the next thing, and once I got that thing, and then I can go to the next thing, and then, but I want to do it, within the next couple of weeks or something, but it's as if it's not going to happen. But, things have been dragging on for a long time, and yeah, it's very grueling, and it's a very sore period, I'm always sore, my legs are always sore, because I've got to walk all the time up the shop, always walking up and back to get everything, and it's, very grueling. Other people are probably at what is meant to be a job all day, and it's not really a job, and they're sore, and they're coming back, and they're a slave all day too. Everybody's a slave nowadays. Everybody's slaving away at something, and it's it has to end, because it's been going on for long, and there has to be a transition where it goes away, and people begin to realise what's good, and begin to care. I mentioned circumcision, big thing. Get rid of the foreskin. If most people still have their foreskin nowadays, and it's mostly bad on the earth, well, then you can say that, yeah, it's a problem. It has to go. Apart from the fact that, circumcised happy, uncircumcised equals unhappy, and in that category of words, you can say again, if most things are bad and most people still have their foreskin, you can see, okay, it has to go. Okay, I'm circumcised, I'm happy, but I'm being affected by everybody that's not. Okay, and maybe that's why I'm in the position I am now, to tell everybody, and I'm suffering from my ancestors that weren't, and I'm only able to live on the earth with the rest of the people that aren't. It's because they've obviously had ancestors that were, and that's the only reason they're around. Okay, so it all sort of works out, but the time is now. There has to become a time where everybody is. Okay, and there's the circle, there's a time frame, and you got the good era where people are all done, and you got the bad era where they're not done, and that people lose the way. So now that with the transition comes the healing. Once the wound is closed and healed, then the benefits can start being, people can begin to really feel the good. But as long as that wound is open, there's going to always be, that suffering going on. So, but there's a way to beat it. To beat it involves the work, there's the exercises, there's the ingredients. Now there's a certain food to have. There's a certain way to have it. I'm still working on it. I've been surviving off rice and chicken for the past 3 years, basically. Tuna I've had, but mostly chicken. Chicken like every day with rice all day. It's not boring. It's very nice. Anybody, if I say to anybody, chicken every day, they're going to eat chicken every day. Who can't eat chicken every day? So eat it cool at room temperature, not hot, not cold, just at room temperature. Boil and strain, rinse the rice. When it's dry, you have it with the chicken, diced and fried on a, simmered, and just, yeah, it's all right, But again, I'll put in the post. Everybody knows that sees it. The water from the rain is being misdirected by the guttering into the ocean on roads, which is 63 million kilometres of road. 63 million kilometres, and there's only 350,000 kilometres of shoreline. Imagine all the roads, or most roads, have gutters on them, except for highways in countries that don't have that, which is good. In Africa, I noticed there's not, but there's probably a lot that have. Most roads have them, and that's a lot of water each year. It adds up to 600 trillion litres or something. And then you got the houses. You know how many billion houses there are, and most houses these days, they have the drainage, the guttering, and the guttering with the drain pipes. So when it rains, rather than the water soaking around the house and soaking up the soil around the house, it's deprived. It gets misdirected to the ocean. The soil underneath the house